Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Somewhere in my family, there's a best. We have bests in our family, so it could be that we're like way back there.
I have mediocres in my family.
Yeah, we have those too. So glad to have you. You took the drive all the way over from Durham, North Carolina.
I was working for my mom today, so yes, I drove over from Durham.
And we can't wait to hear your music. So whatever you'd like to play, we'd love to hear.
Great. Well, I'll start with a song that was the catalyst, the answer song that was the catalyst for this project that I'm sharing with you today. And it's in response to Richard Thompson's song Bee's Wing, to go with the flying
Perfect.
theme, and it's called Not the King of Me. I was working as a laundry girl when I first fell in love. We packed our bags and left that little town. I was hungry for the world, I knew what I was made of, I knew I didn't want to settle down. Sometimes we were buskers or tinkers in the market. My first love is always by my side.
this is going to be such a good show.
I want that line on a T-shirt. You may be king of half the world, but you're not the king of me.
There you go.
Alicia, you had teased us with you talking about a project
Yeah.
that song is a part of. So now it's time to fess up. What is it?
I have this side project called the Answer Song Anthology. And it kind of was, that was the catalyst song, Richard Thompson's Beeswing. I heard it on a road trip with a friend of mine in Ireland. And Linda Curley had picked me up from the Dublin airport, and she is sadly no longer with us, but she was from Ireland. And we went on a road trip. We were heading up to Donegal to a ballad festival, and the song came on, and I'd never heard it or never paid attention to it. And the first time through, I thought, wow, it pulled up such great visuals for me, and I thought, what a beautiful song. And so when we stopped, we said, oh, well, we'll learn it. We'll sing an a cappella version of it. And then we looked deeper at the lyrics, and both she and I had been solo female travelers for quite some time, and we were just like, oh, this is exhausting. This is what everyone's like, oh, you're so wild. I wish I could be as free and wild, and oh, you just go with the breeze, and oh, you're just all over the place, and you're so brave, and you're so wild, and when are you going to settle down, and when are you going to have a family? And we were just like, this isn't our song to sing. And then I joked that I was going to write a song from the woman's perspective. And then I went ahead and did it, and I sent it over to her, an early draft, and by that time, other songs had already gotten in my head that I thought needed some new perspective shown on them. And I put a Facebook post out there saying, does anyone else have any songs that the sexism in these songs irk them? And people,
There's none of those, are there?
several people put some out there and on that post. And then my older brother just linked to Wikipedia folk songs. I was
Just
like,
all of them.
I was like, wow, okay, I have my work set out for me. And
So does side project mean writing these songs and then performing them like you are this evening, or possibly recording down the line also?
so I have big dreams for this project. I think that eventually it will be something that I get other non-male artists to work on with me and record, and also have an actual anthology. I want to have these songs shareable so that anybody can sing them. I also encourage other people to write answer songs, and I think it could have a workshop or a presentation that I could take to libraries and museums and festivals and things like
We
that.
can see that.
You know, my
Well, I was wondering if you're taking on stings every breath you take.
I'm not going into that genre quite.
Okay.
The closest I'm getting to that would be, I have responded to Allison by Elvis Costello.
Okay.
nice.
But when I did, so sometimes when I'm digging into these songs, and Beeswing is a good example of this, I thought, well, maybe this is about an actual relationship that he had. And then no. And then I thought, okay, well, it's just made up. And then no, it turns out it is vaguely based on a contemporary of Richard Thompson's, Anne Briggs, and she never made it big like Richard did, and she played a lot, but she played and traveled a lot, played a lot of folk clubs and busked through the 60s and 70s, and you can still find stuff of hers online, and she continued to play. Incredible artistry, and he met her twice, drunk at a party, and decided that this was probably what her life was like.
Oh, that's
Ew.
nice.
Ew.
Well, we'll be excited to follow this project as it unfolds here, but we do want to get as much of your fine music in as we can. So whatever you'd like to play,
Cool.
be great with us.
I'm going to introduce this one as well. This is in response to Cold, Haily, Windy Rain, or there's different versions. It has different names. Cold, Haily, Windy Night. Fairport Convention did a version of this. It's an old song, and it falls into the category of, they call it night visiting songs, and most night visiting songs kind of depict forceful sexual encounters. So I'm going to put a little warning out for that. This is from the woman in this song. She's answering back to him, or to the world. yelled at me through the rain, knocked. I'm sorry. Yelled at me through the rain, knocked upon my window pane, said my feet are like a lump of lead. Oh, lady, warm me in your bed. I didn't want to let him in cold, blows the northern wind. I didn't want to let him in for fear of what he'd do. He wouldn't take a simple no, wanted reasons why I scorned him so. I told him of my father's ways and my mother with my chamber keys. I didn't want to let him in cold, blows the northern wind. I didn't want to let him in for fear of what he'd do. Persistence is not a gallant trait. Through my curtains, he forced his way. He knew no one would come for me. He knew I would not dare to scream. I didn't want to let him in cold, blows the northern wind. I didn't want to let him in. 'Twas he who forced his way, oh, and to justify his brutal ways, he says I begged for him to stay. He says I wanted to be his bride. I wanted him to stay outside. I didn't want to let him in cold, blows a northern wind. I didn't want to let him in. 'Twas he who forced his way, oh. My mother, she heard the din, and with her keys came running in. I dared not tell her what had passed, and she dared not ever ask. I knew I couldn't let her in cold, blows the northern wind. I knew I couldn't let her in for fear of what she'd do. Mother, I didn't want to let him in cold, blows the northern wind. I didn't want to let him in. 'Twas he who forced his way, oh. 'Twas he who forced his way.
Alicia Best, live here on Pass the Hat. Alicia, you tossed off a phrase earlier when you were introducing the concept of the answer thong and answer thong. That's not an answer song anthology.
We got there.
It was we were heading up to Donegal to a ballad festival.
Yeah.
As if that's something just you just do.
In Ireland, it absolutely is. And there are weekly singings in many towns that are just voice.
Really?
So no one brings an instrument. And during the events of that festival, everyone just sat around in a pub, and there was one person in charge of each session, and they would just kind of point to you across the room, and you would nod or shake your head depending on whether you wanted to go next or not. And some people would say, oh, this song has a chorus, feel free to join in. And other people wouldn't say that. Maybe people would join in on the chorus anyways, and other people would just sing a song that didn't even have a chorus.
That sounds like bliss.
It was amazing.
So what first brought you to Ireland? How did you become
Linda
caught up
Curley.
in this?
Yeah, I'd met Linda down in Guatemala, and we became really close friends. And she was actually living and working in England for a long while, but we had planned to meet up in Ireland. She had some time off work and was going to visit family, and then I came and we traveled around, Ireland, you know, I took a class in college that was called the Irish Song, and we were tracing songs back to Ireland from Appalachia, and I've just always been very curious. I grew up with Thistle and Shamrock and back porch
of
music,
course.
and there's all these
Fiona
this
Ritchie.
crossover. Yeah, there's all this crossover, and it's been a part of the musical fabric that I grew up with.
Awesome. And to be able to get out and be a part of it is a pretty big next step that a lot of folks don't get to do or take.
That's true. I'm trying.
And it's working. You're so good at it. This is a great show so far, right?
And I can hear that you have worked in Ireland. Like I hear it in your voice that you do a lot of that, and it's lovely.
Thank you. Thanks, Kim.
Silence.
So that is a baritone ukulele we've brought this evening,
It is.
and it has some sort of artwork all around the exterior.
Has a bunch of stickers on it.
Stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to see if those were stickers. Cool.
Yeah.
And the fingering of a baritone ukulele, am I wrong that it's the same as a guitar?
Mine is tuned like a guitar.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are just tuned like a ukulele, but lower.
But the four lowest strings of the guitar or the four top?
For highest
Yeah,
in
right.
sound. Yeah.
Well, I like the sound of baritone. It's not as dinky dink.
Yeah.
Well,
What-
it
what-
resonates longer.
What I like about this ukulele in particular is it sounds like it was built for your voice. And is that why you picked this one up? That it seemed to work for you?
I picked this one up because I had it outnumbered. Unlike the guitar had me outnumbered. It had 6 strings. I only had 5 fingers.
Fair.
And really, I picked up this ukulele after being in a band that was very hard to be in, where I had experienced a lot of put down and a lot of negativity, and was kind of told that I didn't have a place in the music industry. And
They were wrong.
I decided I didn't want to rely on anyone else to accompany me. I had to find some way to accompany myself. And I found this one. It had its neck detached from it, and it was $30 from a music shop over in Carborough that doesn't exist anymore.
There you
Oh,
go.
wow.
And
Well, it sounds
been put
great.
back together, and she's been with me ever since.
Yeah.
Well,
good job.
it's saying to us, I'm ready to play another song.
Yeah, well, this is a song a little more on the upbeat side of my answer songs. Sometimes they get really dark. This one is response to Sonny Bono's song that he did with Cher, "A Cowboy's Work Is Never Done." And it's called "A Cowgirl's Work Is Never Through." And ain't that the truth? We tamed horses, rode them ragged, fought off bandits side by side, till that summer when you told me girls can't ride. I yelled at you through tears of anger. You knew I was the meanest shot. You told the other boys that I was crying of a broken heart. I asked my mom for riding lessons, started riding every day. Never let another fool like you get in my way. Hey, hey. Yeehaw. Saw you often with your BBs, shooting tin cans and clay doves, worshipping the older boys as if they knew of life and love. Well, I bet you missed our backyard rodeos. Ain't it funny how life goes? I kept riding even without you, 'cause cowgirls work is never through. Get along, little doggies. I've traveled the ring from the Dakotas on down to the Rio Grande. I've put many a cowboy out of business. I've outshot many a man.
I appreciate the get along little doggies thrown in there.
Well, Alicia, growing up, you had told us about when Irish music entered your life, but when you were a youngster, what kind of music was there in the house?
Well, I mean, I grew up with back porch music and Thistle and Shamrock on the radio all
Okay,
the time.
good.
We had those radio stations playing, and my dad's record collection was also quite vast. And then my mom was really into supporting local musicians, so I grew up with Shannon O'Connor's music, Jonathan Byrd, and Red Clay Ramblers, and Rhiannon Giddens, and when my dad would sing to us before bed, he sang, what is it called? I'm an Old Cowhand from the Rio Grande, yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay. That song. He sang a bunch of songs, including some murder ballads, just a cappella to us with his very bass voice. And
Well, we know you're a fine fiddle player. Was that your first instrument?
it was.
And at what age did you start
I
playing?
played classical violin with Mrs. Kitchen from age 3 to 13.
Wow.
And then went through the Duke String School.
So age 3, Suzuki, like the Suzuki.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Taka taka short short.
Well, we're glad you're still playing violin and you're so good at it.
I
Yes.
put it down for many years. I put it down for about 12 or
Wow.
15.
But
Yeah.
apparently some of that stuck with you.
That foundation was there.
Yeah.
I had to reapproach it.
Was
It
it too
was-
rigorous, the classical?
Yeah, it was.
You
It
couldn't?
wasn't a good fit for me. It was very competitive and very rigorous, and I didn't feel like the music was. I felt like a part of a machine, not an individual expressing
Sure.
myself.
When it stops being fun and fulfilling,
Yep.
Kim, maybe time to step back.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. And I think it's why a lot of people, I know I'm one, I perform when I want to and not like competition doesn't appeal to me.
You don't feel compelled to.
No. And I grew up playing the flute. And it was kind of a similar thing where I did, all state, all county, et cetera, so on. But I just wasn't feeling it. I
Yeah.
did feel like, as you say, part of a machine, part of the cog. And so when I discovered local music, it just blew my whole world wide open. So I get that.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Well, I've been writing songs since I was writing.
Yeah.
In my very first journal when I was like 6, 7, there are songs. And I've been singing those songs and just making up songs that I don't ever write down. Like, I can't turn that faucet off.
Right.
It sounds like a good thing. I
So
don't
I
know
think-
anybody who's written songs since they started writing.
Well, we'd like to dive into your songwriting because we're very interested, and that's what our show's all about. But we need to take a break at the top of the hour. But before then, we have time for one more.
All right. This is in response to Knoxville Girl, which can actually be traced back to England, but it's in response to the version Knoxville Girl, which obviously not that very song is in England because it's before Knoxville. But it's called The Tennessee River Drowning. When I lived in Knoxville, there was a man often on my street, hoping I'd come to the porch, hoping that we'd meet. He stopped me on the road one day about a mile from my home, said he wanted me to walk with him somewhere where we could be alone. I tried to pull his arms from me, but he pushed me to the ground, and he picked up a stick from the side of the road, hit me strong and sound. He was talking as he struck me, said he'd loved me for so long, and if I'd have only been a good girl, things wouldn't have gone so wrong. Then he dragged me by the curls down to the banks of the Tennessee. I was too broken up to swim, and that's where he drowned in me. The last thing I heard him yelling was, "You can never be my bride," as if I would marry a man who took petition for his innocence. They call me the Knoxville girl, as if we're all the same. They call me the Knoxville girl, 'cause he never even knew my name.
It just gets better and better. I'm having the
Or
best time.
worse and worse.
Or yeah, depending on your viewpoint, yeah.
That was
It's very
powerful.
cathartic.
That was powerful. It was
Thanks, man.
very well done.
The socials are lighting up this evening.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we've got a few people saying hey, and someone who has not heard you before was asking if you did
Do some-
ballads.
Ballads and traditional reels.
Yeah,
I think
and-
they're
Yeah.
thinking more in terms of Irish music. So I was thinking, yeah, that's more of a different thread sort of activity.
Yeah, I do, and I first learned the first Appalachian ballad that I learned was from Rhiannon Giddens at Shikori Hills when I was 14, and then I just fell in love with them and kept learning as many as I could and learned a bunch of murder ballads, and then I looked back at the women who have come before me, like Joan Baez and Dolly Parton have done versions where like they've flipped the script where the woman kills the man instead of the man killing the woman, kind of thing. And I started out doing that, and throughout college I was doing that, and it just wasn't enough for me. I was like, this is still murder, and we still know where it was aimed at to start with, and it comes
Right.
from hundreds and hundreds of years of this, and like femicide is still a huge issue, and we're still mostly murdered by our family members and partners, and
Absolutely.
and like it's too real to just, because it's tradition, we'll just keep doing it. It's too real for me.
Well, everybody, we are here having a wonderful time and a thought-provoking session here on Pass the Hat with Alicia Best. Bob had mentioned that one of the music activities that Alicia is involved with is a different thread.com with the wonderful Robert Jackson, who we have the pleasure of having that duo here in the studio, and really enjoyed that time. And shout out to Robert, and glad that you broke through the Great Wall. You climbed the wall.
Me too.
Amazing. Everybody, we are WHUP LP Hillsborough. As I said, this is Pass the Hat. We are thrilled to have an Hour 2 sponsor, Bob.
Yes, we are. Support for this second hour of Pass the Hat is sweetly provided by Matthews Chocolates, 104 North Churton Street, Hillsborough, North Carolina, the finest in chocolate and chocolate accessories for all of your chocolate needs. And let's face it, we all have chocolate needs. Every guest on Pass the Hat gets a gift of chocolate from Matthew because he is a great lover of local music and also just makes the world's best chocolate. So y'all head on down to Matthews, get all the good stuff. He's really got some good gelato right now.
Alicia, you mentioned that you've been writing songs as long as you could hold a pencil
Yeah.
or a crayon.
Yep.
And so I have a question about songwriting and these answer songs. Having that as a prompt or a stimulus, that you're responding to, is that having that jump start? Does that make it easier to write a song, or is that more challenging?
For me, it's such a wealth of information, and then you think, yeah, for me, extrapolating from a song and trying to come up with another perspective on the situation, they just write themselves.
And so it comes out all at once most of the time, or is there's some sort of process where you have to move it along?
With these, the idea tends to come out in one fell swoop, just of like, I know this is the perspective I'm taking. And then to shape it, what I'm trying to do is, unlike Kitty Wells and the Highwomen, I'm not taking the song that I'm answering to and using the very same format and melody and just rewriting it. But I am trying to get some amount of the feel, some amount of the structural shape, some amount of the genre, and the vibe of the song that I'm answering to. So that can sometimes be tricky, I'm working on an answer to Neil Young's Maid, and that song has several bits to it and is a pretty complex song, and I am having a hard time kind of like mirroring its shape, but I know what story I'm telling.
So do you have several of these going at once where you can put one on the shelf for a while, let it be, and
I have a long list, and I've shared 25 with my Patreon. So I have a Patreon. There are about 17 people on there. Answer Song Anthology. You can find me on there. And there are a few videos that are public on YouTube, and then the rest of them are private because it really is just in its embryonic stage. It's very beginning. But I have 25 songs that have been released.
And y'all
them.
can just Google Answer Song Anthology, and you will
can.
find that Patreon page, and you can sign up and be a part of it.
For as little as $2 a month.
and everybody, you can share with all your friends that tonight's show is being video cast, if you will. If that's the word, maybe that's an archaic term,
Great
but
term.
it is being archived as well. And so you right now are witnessing this epiphany and coming out of these songs are among the first. But you can share with your friends because Bob. And how do people find the video from tonight's show?
At WHUP Pass the Hat, at WHUP Pass the Hat on all of your favorite streaming services. And let me tell you who your favorite streaming services are. They are Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Facebook and YouTube keep them forever, so you can watch it live right now. You can watch it recorded tomorrow, next week, or 5 years from now. And you can also go back and see previous shows. Twitch keeps them for 2 weeks.
Nice.
Well, enough of twitching. We're ready for some more Alicia Best, if you'd be
Thank
so
you.
kind.
Yeah. This is a short little one in response to Norwegian Wood by the Beatles, which I always was kind of curious about what it meant as a teenager. I thought it probably meant something illicit because just probably did, and I probably just didn't know what that meant. And then I dug a little deeper, and I learned that Norwegian Wood is what the cheap plastic fake wood paneling in high-rise apartments in the 60s and 70s in London had as their wall, as like part of their baseboards or walls. And they were notorious for catching fire real easy. And that the what-if scenario of this song, Norwegian Wood, is what if you're chatting up a woman in a bar, she gets you back to her place, won't put out, so you sleep in the bathtub, and then when she's at work the next day, you catch her apartment on fire.
Well, that's nice.
Just what if, you know? Let's just throw that around. So this one is called A Nightcap. I once met a man. Please understand, I didn't know him. We stood at the bar till the wee hours. We talked like old friends. He asked for a nightcap and I let him come up. We sat on the floor drinking wine. When I said it's time for bed, he thought I was offering mine. He refused to leave and locked himself in my bathroom alone. I left for work in the morning. I gave him fair warning, he had to get going. I hear the sirens now. Why are there fire trucks up and down my block? It looks like the smoke's coming out from my building and billowing up. All because I once met a man and I let him come in for a nightcap. Just a short little ditty.
Well, and while you were singing that, I had to look up the lyrics of Norwegian Wood, and I'm going, oh my God.
Yeah, isn't it good? Isn't it good?
Also the name of a novel. Have you read the Haruki Murakami novel?
I have not.
It was the first novel I read by him. It was my introduction to his work. And I was with you. I thought, because I thought it was the title of the Beatles song.
Yeah.
And then you read the book and you realize, nope, that's not what was meant
Something
at all.
a little different, huh?
A little bit different. Yep.
Yeah.
You have an interesting and fearless songwriter sense, it seems. Is there anything that you are afraid to write about? I know you said you won't write standard issue murder ballads, and I get that. But seems like if something crosses your path, you're going to write about it. But is there anything you won't?
I don't think so. If I think it's, I guess I want to like believe in its story, and I find a lot of these stories are actually, at least I feel, far more powerful when sung from the perspective, from the other perspective or another perspective.
Oh, totally agree.
And I think the hardest one so far I think that Cold, Haily, Windy Night, Northern Wind was hard for me to write to some degree, but I also kind of went back into those shoes and did like the little, like those songs back then would have things like her curtains and I'm playing with words a little as they did in their night visiting songs. And but I did an answer song. I'm not going to share it today. I'm not ready. But I did share it on my Patreon. I did an answer song to Coward of the County.
Love it.
Which I don't know if you've ever actually paid attention to that song. Because I think most people just pay attention to the chorus, which is, sometimes you back down to a fight, and it's like, okay, cool, yeah, some men, you don't have to fight to be a man, like, okay, yay. But it's written from the uncle's perspective, and he's talking about a brutal gangbang from the Gatlin brothers. These like 3 men, at least 3, if not 5. Take turns on the woman. It's just awful. It's awful. And then at the end, like if I take that song at face value, the nephew comes home, sees his partner with ripped clothes and an absolute mess, and then instead of going to her, goes and murders the men who did it.
Yeah.
And then I'm
That's
just
helping.
like, wow, this woman, like he's in jail for murder. This woman had nobody. She had one person who she loved because he was a pacifist. And then she got brutally attacked, and the person who she could usually turn to murdered some people. I'm like, where does this woman go? What does she have? And at the end, I have her on. She's got everything she could take in a duffel bag and a Greyhound bus ticket, and she's just going
Away. Yeah.
with nothing. She has lost everything. And that's just unlike the uncle who sings it in a pretty cheery way.
Go murder those bad guys.
It's way more powerful to me, but it's also, it's subject matter to be careful with. And I have experienced quite an array of sexism in the music industry and outside of that, and
What?
just as a woman in this world. I know, crazy, right?
Who would have thought?
It doesn't happen anymore, does it?
Oh, that's the past.
That's in the past.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed it in at least an hour.
Yeah, that's been nice. That's
Wait,
been
wait
refreshing.
a minute. You've been here for 90 minutes. Oops.
I think that is your cue to play us another song.
All right, let's see what I got here. All right, I've got a song by, oh no, did I write down his name? Tony Hazard wrote this song, but I knew the Country Gentleman's version, and it's called Fox on the Run. My response is called Run, Rabbit, Run. Kind of a bluegrassy song. Imagine, if you will. If I walk on the road, he'll walk behind me. If I cut through the corn, he'll follow me on. Across the river, morning sun blinding like a fox, he'll follow like a rabbit. I'll run. Paradise Hall on a Saturday night, I'll take up a dance partner out behind me. If I cut through the corn, he'll follow me on across the river. Morning sun blinding like a fox, he'll follow like a rabbit. I'll run like a fox, like a fox, like a fox, like a fox. He'll follow. Run, rabbit, run.
Run, rabbit, run.
Run, rabbit, run.
Alicia, any live shows in the area that people can see?
You know, I would love your feedback on what open mics to check out. I'm only in town for about a month this time around, and I've been doing so many other things that booking myself anything has not been on the priorities.
Every Tuesday night right across the street.
Lovely.
The
See you
Yonder's
Tuesday.
open mic is amazing.
When do you have to be there to sign up?
It's
How strict are they?
They're pretty chill.
Okay.
It's run by chill folks.
Nice.
Starts at 7, and they'll often have some spoken word poetry kind of stuff just to wet people's whistles, and then the
Nice.
musicians start rolling in, and it's a wonderful good time.
Nice.
And we have a monthly songwriter round at Yonder that I've messaged you. We have an opportunity for you later on in September. I don't know if you'll still be here, but
No, I won't.
yeah, we'll catch you next time around.
Would love that.
And
Would
there
really
is
love that.
also the Doodad Songwriter Circle. I think that's the
Last Thursday.
this is the last Thursday. You may be gone by the last Thursday of this month, which is
that
also
was
fantastic.
last night. No, that's not. No, we got another one.
Yeah, there's at least another Thursday in this month.
Oh, there is.
I think there's 2 more.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
because I have surgery on one of these
It's
Thursdays.
still early. Yeah, still early in the month, kind of.
Also, Bill West down at Calvander.
Okay.
He does. He has a Sunday night song circle. I would say message him to
Okay.
let him know.
We can
I
get
don't
you
know
in
Bill
touch.
West.
Yeah.
I would love
He's
that.
super friendly impresario, if you will, of local songwriter community.
Cool.
He would love to have you. But yeah,
You-
you
I
would
am going
need
to
an
go
introduction.
to the sing-along that I started 10 years ago that still happens in
Where's this?
Carborough. It happens I believe it's happening in the Carborough Market area tomorrow afternoon. I think it goes 2 to 4.
So it kind of happens after the farmer's market?
Yeah,
How cool is that?
Good.
yeah. They've moved around quite a bit, but they do have some amount of online presence. You can find them. Sing Along Carborough.
Or sing along right now.
Yeah.
I think Kirk says play another song.
Well, let's.
I mean, if you don't
will
mind.
join me on the choruses, you are welcome to. Y'all at home can as well. This is my response to a sea shanty called New York Girls. My song is called Sailor Girls, and the chorus goes, "I'll go my own way, Jack. I never was your darling, and if I learn to dance, it won't be the polka." And it's pretty fun. 'Twas Barrack Street I called my home ever since I was small. Even then I'd watch the ships and sailors I recall. I told everyone I met that I would someday go to sea. They laughed at me back then, now I wish they could see me. I'll go my own way, Jack. Never was your darling. If I learn to dance, you know it won't be the polka. Jobs were few in those days, we took everything we could. We cleaned and cooked and broke our backs chopping firewood. New York City was in hard times, there never was a break. I've done work that even the toughest sailors couldn't take. I'll go my own way, Jack. I never was your darling, and if I learn to dance, you know it won't be the polka. Well, I was walking home on a Tuesday evening late. A sailor sidled up to me and he stopped me by my gate. He asked if he could join me. I had no time to think. My mother and my sisters came and offered him a drink. I'll go my own way, Jack. I never was your darling, and if I learn to dance, you know it won't be the polka. I'm not saying that I'm innocent. I know I'm far from that. He had those sailor trousers and that little sailor hat. He stood about as tall as me until he was too drunk to stand. I tucked him into bed and then I hatched my plan. I'll go my own way, Jack. I never was your darling, and if I learn to dance, you know it won't be the polka. I took off my shift and apron, they'd be no more use for me. I took on Ducky's sailing clothes and down the stairs I creeped. My mother, she stood by the door, scissors in her hand. She said, I'll have to cut your hair if you're to be a sailing man. I'll go my own way, Jack. I never was your darling, and if I learn to dance, you know it won't be the polka. So sailor lads, take warning. More and more so-called whores are taken to the dockside, and the job they want is yours. They want your business, yes, but not in the way you think. They want your pants, not into them, so take another drink. I'll go my own way, Jack. Never was your darling. If I learn to dance, you know it won't be the polka. Polka? I hardly know ya. I'll go my own way, Jack. I never was your darling. If I learn to dance, you know it won't be the polka.
If there is one thing we are good at on Pass the Hat, it is sing-alongs.
You really smashed it. Out of the park, out of the park.
If you were to do that 2 more times in a row, I'll catch it on the 3rd one.
Perfect.
Just how I roll.
We don't have enough polka songs up here.
Or anti-polka songs.
Yeah, same. They're the same thing.
Kind of the same thing. Fair enough.
Now, do you also, you have many talents, do you also dance?
The polka.
I do dance.
What
and
kind?
I have polka. I dance many, many kinds of dance. I grew up dancing at Walltown Children's Theater and the Durham Arts Council.
Oh, how fun.
I danced with Sidia Shakur doing African dance.
Yep.
And Betsy Blair doing modern, and then under the guidance of Cynthia Penn Halal at Walltown Children's Theater, I did tap, jazz, African, ballet, hip-hop, lyrical, you name it. And then I've done swing and blues and salsa and tango and contra dance. I'm a 3rd-generation contra dancer, square dancing.
Well,
You do
everybody-
all of the dancing.
Done a little bit of break dancing.
At Centerfest on the main dance stage, Saturday, September 16th, we will have at noontime Walltown right there.
How about that?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, check them out. I highly recommend their program, and sometimes pick up some work with them as well in recent years.
Speaking of Centerfest, Kirk, that's September
16 and 17.
right in downtown Durham.
Yep, that's Saturday and Sunday from about 11 in the morning to about 5 or 6 in the evening. We have 5 stages. North Carolina songwriters will have their own stage. And we have music stage, dance stage. We have a kids area.
And dozens of vendors.
Yeah, probably close to 100 vendors. And we block off Main Street and Chapel Hill Street all the way from about where Bull McCabe's is, all the way up to the Bull sculpture. And just wonderful time over the 2 days. We'll probably have about 35,000 people milling the streets.
And it's free.
Of downtown Durham. It is free, yes, although we would love to have your contributions so we can keep bringing you more and more better music.
Yeah, show up, make contributions, buy merch or buy stuff from the vendors,
Yep.
show everyone you love. You can buy all of your Christmas presents there and
Yeah.
have a wonderful time.
Fabulous rundown of music and dance. Again this year, just go on the Durham Arts Council website. They're about to post the performance schedule, and DurhamArtsCouncil.org, I think it must be. Yep.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to it, only because, well, not only because, but in part because I'll be one of the hosts at the stage, and Kirk earlier today was telling me the guests I'll be able to introduce on that stage.
It's like the
and
past
boy, howdy.
Pass the Hat Hall of Fame going to
Yes,
play on that
good
stage.
stuff.
Yeah.
Kim Lane will be there too, assuming she's feeling okay.
Well, I'm not the one having surgery 2 weeks before. I love how he projects
Projecting
this.
I will have the golf cart ready for both of you, just to make sure that you get there safely and that you're comfortable.
Good plan. I think we've got time for a couple more songs. Yeah.
Yeah. I've prepared one more, and I might be able to pull another one out of the hat.
Sweet.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
Maybe I'll play something that's not an answer song,
Okay.
but we'll see.
It's your
This-
show. You can do whatever you want to.
Thank you. So Utah Phillips wrote a song called Rock, Salt, and Nails, which he never sang. But he taught it to somebody else, and it has been widespread since then, and lots of people have sung it. And at one point, there's some footage of him on YouTube. Someone has, I guess, requested it, and he explains why he doesn't sing that song. And it's because, and I think it's very valid, he says that he was getting out some feelings that he doesn't really feel anymore, and it seemed a little too far. He went too far, and it wasn't for him to sing. But that didn't stop him from passing it on and having lots of other people sing his song. And so this is my answer song. It's called A Night Without Sleep. Down by those weeping willows, when the river ran dry, I told you I loved you, and it wasn't a lie. When the high lonesome winds whistled and the dark clouds rolled in, I hoped I could learn to love you again. And the river runs cold, the river runs deep. I'll tell you what's worse than a night without sleep. I wrote you a note, and I left it tonight. There's no shame in leaving, and all that's left is a fight. Back home at my mother's, your letter arrived. Each line that I read, you threatened my life. Oh, where is your conscience? Does it echo my name? Do you value my life as no more than a game? And the river runs cold, the river runs deep. I'll tell you what's worse than a night without sleep. If I were a blackbird or a thrush like you said, if I were a squirrel, I would surely be dead. But I am a woman riding the western rails, 'cause you filled up your shotgun with rock salt and nails. And the river runs cold, the river runs deep. I'll tell you what's worse than a night without sleep. Oh, this is much worse than a night without sleep. I'll tell you what's worse than a night without sleep.
Wow. I'll say it. You guys are thinking it.
Say it, Bob.
Wow.
There are few things worse than a night without sleep.
Yeah,
For real.
but someone like basically putting out a hit on you for you is, I'd
That
say, arguably worse.
yeah, that does outrank bad sleep night.
I mean, it might give you
Might
bad sleep,
cause
but
you not to sleep.
only bad sleep. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, what a fantastic hour this has been with your music. It's this has been a really good show.
Thank you so
It
much.
has been, and
Thank
if you're struggling as a singer-songwriter, if you're listening and you haven't written, try this.
Yeah,
Try
write an
writing an
answer
answer to anything. I'm feeling this. I write answer songs to movies. I'm really
Nice.
into film.
Yeah,
Same thing from the feminine perspective. So if you're stuck, I would strongly suggest write an answer to something you love, a book, a song, a movie, and see what happens.
And it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be in the same like vein of what I'm doing. It could be someone has written a love song and they've used some, and you just want to write the love song back to that love song. So many people have done it in so many ways. Answer songs go way, way back, and even just answer verses in songs go way, way back. And I highly recommend throwing them in there. For a while, my mom and I were singing a counter chorus for Jonathan Bird's Chicken Wire. And I have actually written a whole answer song to Chicken Wire.
Yeah,
Maybe I could pull that one up.
He had
Okay.
for several Wednesdays in a row down at the Kraken, he would invite people onto the stage to sing their verses of Chicken Wire after he had finished the song, and the band would just keep playing.
I had a lot of issues with that, and I brought them up to him a lot. His song was sexist, and then some people's
made it worse.
Yeah, some people's verses were just took it way farther, and that kind of disappointed me in humanity, and we were vocal about that. And I may have lost a friend, but
I doubt it.
I could try that one.
Okay.
I'll try a little bit of it.
Yeah, just a little bit. And y'all, while Alicia is doing that, remember to go out and find Answer Song Anthology and find that on Patreon too, so you can follow and be a part of this, because you want to be a part of this.
Here we go. It's called Rooster Rooster. Rooster Rooster, you good for nothing cock. Tried to keep me in a pen, but I pecked the lock. I'm singing in a different key than I'm playing. Let's see. I'm not going to be able to pull that out of the hat right now. What can I do?
You don't have to do anything. We can talk for a moment, and you've got 30 minutes, y'all. Every guest who comes here on Pass the Hat brings us a playlist for the last 30 minutes of the show, and Alicia has a full 30 minutes of music, and we're going to jump into it right here in a moment.
Yeah, I went with the answer song theme and shared some answer songs that I enjoy and hope you will also enjoy.
Perfect. If you would, hey, live stream folks, we're going to kill the live stream in just a moment, and you can keep listening at WHUPFM.org. Hit the live button and keep listening, or if you're here in Hillsboro, you can listen to 104.7 FM, and you can find us on the TuneIn app as well. So keep listening. We're going to kill the live stream. Alicia's going to wave goodbye.
Thanks for watching.